Welcome, welcome. Morning, we're in Parshas Beshalach, the Sikha of the Rebbe to women, 1992. And he spoke about the women. We spoke about a lot about the fact that the women got special attention, right, from both the Rebbe and the Frierdiker Rebbe, more than any other Rebbe in our times or in the previous generation of the Frierdiker Rebbe. And how the reason the Rebbe says that the Frierdiker Rebbe initiated this special attention for Jewish women and girls is because they have two aspects in them. One is that they bring the Geulah. They hasten the true and complete redemption in their merit, as it says in the Midrash, that in the merit of the righteous woman of the generation that Geulah is coming in, that Mashiach comes in their merit. The other thing he explained is also were the actual reincarnations of the souls of the women who came out of Egypt. We have very, very high souls, each and every one of us. And also the in Geulah itself, in the true and complete redemption, in the times of Mashiach, the status of the level, the source of the souls of the women will also be revealed, which is higher than the souls of the men. And like we know that even our forefathers, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, needed their wives, Sarah, Rachel, and Leah, to be able to reveal themselves, whatever they were able to give to the world through their wives. And the reason the Rebbe explains is it's explained that the women are able to draw down, first of all, because their source is higher, from a higher place. The source of our souls is from a higher place than that of the men. And second of all, it can bring it down to lower. We're able to deal with lower things, more mundane, more physical things in this world. And that's our talent, that's our ability, that we can handle that. And therefore, whatever the men can bring into the world, they need the woman to bring it down to the level that we can bring it as revealed down here below, in the lowest of the low, which is the whole purpose of creation. The purpose of creation is to draw godliness down into this physical world, in the lowest places, the darkest places, the most unexpected places. So we do that the best, and therefore the Rebbe said the previous Rebbe and also the Rebbe himself put a tremendous amount of attention on the Jewish women, gave them a lot spiritually, in so many ways. Okay, I'm not going to go into it, but we all know we're learning here now the deepest secrets and teachings of Torah because the Rebbe made that possible for us to do that and encouraged us and gave special attention to us and special slichas and encouragement and demanded it really of the women and the girls to learn Torah and to be involved in spreading Yiddishkeit to the world, and not just to be insular and learn for themselves or take care of themselves and their families, but to take care of themselves, their families, and the world at large. So we have a big part in what's the changes that are taking place in the world. And the miracles that come into the world and Geulah that's coming to the world, it depends a lot on the woman. And it's also just the times that we see the advantage of the women and where everything that we're about and what we're about, where it comes from. It comes from our soul root. And the soul of the root of our soul is very, very high. Okay, and we're learning more and more about it. We learn about in Chassidus, we're learning about how Hashem reveals himself in the world. And then there's according to the levels that the world can receive. And then there's levels that are higher than the world. They're beyond, they're like similar to the level of the crown, or the higher comes through intuition. It's revealed through women better because women have a more intuitive power. They have an ability to connect to very spiritual high things and get it and be connected, whereas men tend to be more, the Rebbe doesn't say this here, but it's explained more in Chassidus. Men tend to be more logical, rational within the capacity of the brain, of the mind, and that's what they're trained also. Things have to be fit into the rationale, into the finite definitions of a brain, but we know brains are limited. They're physical, really. They're a little bit less physical than physical, but they are physical. Human mind is physical brain and a physical body, so it's limited. So if the women use their extra capacity, let's say intuition, for instance, their sensibilities that are not necessarily logical, so they have a little bit more of a connection to a higher level. beyond rationale, beyond only the logic of the brain. And that's a special power that women have. And the Rebbe encourages women to use their intuition, use their sensitivities, use their chush. It's a sensitivities that women have to be able to reach out to people and connect to people and spread Torah and mitzvahs to people, whether it's within their family, their husbands, their children, and then also outside of the family. So this, I just added stuff here from other sichas that the Rebbe explains, and Chassidus. Not all this was learned, but he alluded to it in this sicha. So now we're up to Gimel, paragraph 3. יש לחשב זה גם מפרשת השבוע, ובפרט שההסתלקות הייתה ביום שבת קודש, שבו קוראים כל פרשה כולה, פרשת בו. So the Rebbe is going to connect all these ideas of the women, the advantage of the women, to the parsha of Bo, okay, which is this past Shabbos. When it comes to the Rebbe is connected to the last Shabbos and the coming Shabbos, Beshalach. So in Boel Paro, what we just learned last week, it says in the Zohar, right, that Hashem took Moshe Rabbeinu, come to Paro. Why does it say come, not go? Because he took him in, Hashem drew him into like chamber within chamber, it says in the Zohar. And this idea of Paro down below mirrors the Paro above in holiness. Paro in holiness is that there is like chamber within chamber, and from where all the highest levels of lights come from it in a wild Pa'ua, like Pa'ua is like very wild and very Pa'ua, very like Pa'ua. Pa'ua is like when you have messy wild hair, it's called a Sao Pa'ua, like not, wild hair, or so the very high lights come from that area, from that level. And Hashem took Moshe Rabbeinu to the source. We explained this last week, to the source of where it's even possible for there to be unholiness in this world. From that high level of revelations is hinted to, alluded to, the connection to what's going on in Shvat, what's going on, what went on this past Shabbos. That it's the day of the Hilula, the yahrzeit of the Friedrich Rebbe, the Nasi Ador, the leader of the generation, the Moshe Rabbeinu of the generation. He went up. When on the day of the yahrzeit, it says the neshama goes up to this highest level from where these wild lights come from. When the neshama leaves the body, when the neshama goes up, histalkus, it's called, is ascends and is elevated, it goes to a very high level of revelation of godliness. And then it says every year on the yahrzeit, it goes up even higher to another higher level, and then it draws down this godliness to those people who are connected to them down here below. So we now, after Yud Shvat, should have a lot more elevation and a lot more ability to see greater awarenesses. And today is also the Histalkus, the Hilula of the Rebbe Stern Asara, which is the Friedrich Rebbe's mother. Okay, and there's stories about her, the famous story about how she also had this dream and she was able to give birth to her only son, which was the previous Rebbe. And she had a dream, I believe, I haven't read it in quite a few years, but the Alter Rebbe and I think somebody else, one other Rebbe, and they told her what to do in order to merit to have a child, because she wasn't having children. And then she did what she was told in the dream, and she then had the previous Rebbe. So that's just one story of it. Okay. So we have this level of, on the yahrzeit, we get today from her neshama, and on Shabbos we got from the Friedrich Rebbe's neshama, this high level. The neshamas ascend to the highest levels, and getting wild lights, these high lights. And it's a sachakol, it's a culmination of all their service, all their efforts b'chaim when they were alive in this physical world, to be able to give light to the world alidei avodah b'nei Torah mitzvot, through our service or their service in Torah mitzvahs, ner mitzvah v'Torah, or the light of Torah, or the mitzvah, and the light of Torah. So there's a great revelation, there's a great awareness, a great capacity for us to open up our mind in our hearts and connect to Hashem today because of the day of the Yortzeit, okay, of the Geulah of the Rebbetzin Shtar. There is there's a footnote 44. I'm going to go into that. Oh, first of all, there's a footnote 40 that the Rebbe says, aside from the fact that this parsha of Bo is the parsha where the Jews came out of Egypt, and it's in the merit of the righteous women in that generation that the Jewish people came out of Egypt. So Bo is connected also to this Jewish women in that they came out of Egypt, okay, and the merit of the women. Now, footnote 40, that was footnote 40. Footnote 44, the Rebbe is giving a comment. What's this idea of a soul ascending and going up to heaven? It's not that the soul leaves. God forbid, okay? We have this notion that the soul leaves, okay? And the Rebbe says, no, it's not chas v'shalom, the soul leaving. Because we know when a tzaddik passes on, they're present in all the worlds. The Rebbe writes also in this physical world, a world of deed, of action, more than when they're alive. This is from the Zohar, part 3, page 71-2. And in Tanya, the Alter Rebbe quotes this Zohar in Siman 27. Now, what's the explanation? Like the Zohar says, there's a spreading out of Hashem's glory, of Hashem in all the worlds. All the worlds means spiritual worlds and this physical world, the Rebbe says. Right? That's what happens when a tzaddik's neshama ascends. There's this great revelation in all worlds. What's this high light? It's a revelation of godly light that's beyond all the worlds, that transcends all the worlds. It's an unlimited light of Hashem that's usually not able to be revealed in the physical world. It's a higher kind of light. It's a transcend. It's a non-relatable kind of light. But that light is present in all the worlds more when a tzaddik passes on. Okay, so that was paragraph 44. So there's something special that is not necessarily so felt because it's such a transcendent light. Okay, it's a sover kolamin, but it's there, it's present. There's a very strong presence of the tzaddik in here in this physical world more than before. And that's something what the Alter Rebbe quoted in Tanya when he was writing a letter. It's also quoted in the Igros Kodesh that he wrote, the letters, the holy letters that he wrote when Yehudit Wolffe passed away. He wrote it to, he also wrote about it to comfort people who were grieving his loss. And he said, no, he's present here more than before. And he quoted this Zohar and talked about it there. And he explained why a tzaddik is more connected, right, to is more alive because their deeds, their main life was about their good deeds, their Torah mitzvahs. Okay, so that's footnote 44. Let's go back to the paragraph from paragraph 3 or 4 of Gimel of Vodvika. Okay, we said this. That this coming to Paro and the revelations of lights that are revealed when he came to Paro is in this case, we're talking about the culmination of all the service of the tzaddik in their life force is being revealed in their lifetime, is being revealed when the soul ascends, and it shines into the world through a service of Torah and mitzvahs. Okay, it's revealed more. Now, this is also connected and emphasizes the connection to the Jewish women. How? So it's very connected to the women. Why? Because what's the main mitzvah? One of the main essential ikar. Ikar is very main and essential mitzvah that was given to the Jewish women. What do we know? Everybody knows nowadays, thanks to the Rebbe, the mitzvah of lighting Shabbos candles and Yom Tov candles. And what does a candle do? It's called a candle of a mitzvah and the light of Torah. It says even in physicality, in actuality, it's what's revealed. This mitzvah reveals light. So it's a mitzvah klalit shekulelet kol mitzvot. It's a general mitzvah. It includes a lot of mitzvahs, like we know. 248 positive commandments with two hands, which are love and awe, love and reverence. together they come back to the gematria 250, which is ner, which is candle. So it represents all the mitzvahs, very essential mitzvah, but also in actuality, we see that it gives physical light. Now also, the mitzvah Shabbos comes when Shabbos comes in, enters. We actually usher in Shabbos into the home before the husband prays through the woman lighting the Shabbos candle. So, but when the woman lights the candles, it emphasizes how all the service of our efforts during the whole week come to to an end. And now, what do you mean an end? Come to the culmination of shining and lighting up the world with this candle of the mitzvah and the light of Torah. Meaning, like, now everything we did throughout the week is being represented as now lighting up the world through this Shabbos candle. Okay? Sachakol, the culmination and all the conclusion and all the culmination and all everything that we did this whole week is now coming together to shine up the world and to light up the world with this candle that the woman is ushering in with the Shabbos. According, similar to this, we're talking about the whole service of the Nasi throughout his lifetime. Okay, he says that's kind of parallel or similar. Everything he did, which parallels also all the service of the Jewish people, the Knesset Yisrael in our generation. It comes to kind of a culmination. Everything that we did though with the candle, the mitzvah, and the light of Torah, the sachakol, all of it coming together now. What's the sachakol? What's the end result of everything? What's the culmination? What do we come to? The completion and the wholeness of it is one, B'yom Shabbos Kodesh, on Shabbos, the Holy Shabbos, which comes in and is ushered in and starts with the lighting of the Shabbos candle. And two, he says it's this year Shabbos Parshas Bo Paro. We're coming to Paro in the Parsha Bo, where Hashem is revealing all these great lights through Parsha and on Parshas Bo. Welcome. I didn't welcome everybody. It seems like there's somebody new. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. Okay, so Odvika. One more important thing the Rebbe says. שזו הכנה לתכלית השלמות אל עיני מצווה ותורה כמצוות לפניך באופן דהתפרע ותגלה מן כל העמים כפי שיתגלה לעתיד לבוא. ליום שכולו שבת ומנוחה לכם. He says another point, which is a very essential important point. All this is a preparation for the true purpose of the whole goal and the whole wholeness of what we're doing, the mitzvahs and Torah for, the light, the candle of the mitzvah and the light of Torah. According to Hashem's will, what's the culmination of all these Torah mitzvahs that we've been doing? But often in a way that it will be revealed la'asid lavo in the future, in a way of great lights, great revelations. Everything will be revealed in a very, very, very great way. In the day of Shabbos and so there was basically paralleling the week that we have, and we usher in Shabbos with the candle through the women, which this candle represents that everything we did throughout the week is now being elevated, and it's starting to be revealed in another level of the Shabbos candle with light to the rest of the world. And that, he says, is also parallels the culmination of the work of the Frierdiker Rebbe throughout his lifetime, when his soul ascended to heaven, and on the Yortzeit, where it comes to another heightened elevation of all the work that he did throughout his lifetime. And he said also it parallels all the work that we did throughout the generations of Galus, of exile, which is going to be culminated and be revealed in a much greater light in the times of Geulah. So there's great parallels going on over here. And these lights that will be revealed, like the Yom Shekulo Shabbos, the day that's totally Shabbos, the days of Geulah, right, is going to be so great and so grand. And so it's like the revelation of the Shabbos candles that reveal a new light into the world.
Yeah.
Part of the Bach remedy. Welcome.
We just use the Bach also.
Yeah.
Welcome, Shalomit.
Another set of Bach.
Okay. Okay, good to see you. So that's, okay, we got those parallels. Those are very, if I wouldn't have taught this class today, I don't think I would have noticed it so much. You can
Wait,
just
can you repeat them
sometimes
again?
through this. You can zip through this and not pay attention. Okay, so we light Shabbos candles, right? On Shabbos. What's the significance is that there is parallels it to the women. The women are the ones who light the Shabbos candles. Usher and they mark the Shabbos is now starting and being, through the Shabbos candle, right? The candles that she lights. Even before this husband takes on Shabbos or makes Kiddush and greets the Shabbos or prays, Marav, she's lighting the Shabbos candles. So she's ushering in Shabbos. So the Rebbe says this is significant. It's similar to the day of the Yortzeit when it says the soul ascends, or the day of the passing, where the soul ascends to heaven, and it's like a great light is being lit and revealed and shines in all the worlds. It's like similar to that candle that we're talking about. That's the Shabbos candle that reveals new light into the whole world in actuality. And the Rebbe says, so that's similar to the new light that it talks about in Zohar and in Tanya, is revealed when the soul ascends, okay? That's very, very highlights. And he said it's parallel also to to the light that happened with the Frierdiker Rebbe when he passed on, and his neshama is revealed much more in this world and in all the worlds, like it says in Zohar. And it also parallels all the work that we did throughout the generations, all the Jewish people in exile, which it culminates and ushers in a new light, a new revealed light in the times of Geulah, which is also called like a time of Shabbos. It says the time of Geulah will be like Shabbos forever and ever. Shabbos and Menucha, Shabbos and rest forever and ever. Okay, so the lighting of the Shabbos candles parallels the ascension of a soul which reveals a great light in this world, and it's also parallels the revelations of the great lights of Geulah. Okay, so lighting Shabbos candles is very profound. Okay, got to get more. Thank God, a lot of women know about it nowadays, but I guess we could still inspire women to do it more. Okay, so that's Gimel. There is a footnote. Let me just see, footnote 53, that's nothing much. Okay, let's see here. In the Zohar, it says, footnote 46. What's this candle? It says in the Zohar, there's a ner mitzvah. When the pasuk that the Rebbe keeps quoting, there's a candle of a mitzvah and light of Torah. And the Zohar explains what's this candle of a mitzvah? That's the candle that the women have the merit to be able to light, and that's the candle of Shabbos, that they light the candle of Shabbos. And also, it says, it says, somebody, I guess, who was careful, or Ragil Bener, she has children who are Talmidei Chachamim, children who are Torah scholars. Like it says, the candle of mitzvah and the light of Torah, that through the candle of the mitzvah of Shabbos, you get the light of Torah. So the way the Zohar explains it is that through lighting the Shabbos candles, you get more Torah. Okay, like that's from Gemara, I think. Yeah, Gemara Shabbos. It says somebody who's careful, I guess, or Ragil. Ragil means makes it a regular thing to do Shabbos candles, which thank God we all do. They have Banim Talmidei Chachamim, children who are. It's connected to getting more Torah in your life. Okay. Let's see what else. 49, footnote 49. Here, yeah, it says, okay, through when we talk about the gematria, 248, the gematria of Ner, numerical value of Ner is 250. Ner is candle. So, which includes 248 positive commandments plus the love and fear. That's 250. So there's a footnote. So he's saying, aside from love and fear are part of the 248 mitzvahs. There's a mitzvah to love Hashem and love, and a mitzvah to have reverence for Hashem or fear. But aside from them being part of the 248 mitzvahs, they also have an all-inclusive power to them that they elevate all the mitzvahs. When you do your mitzvahs with the emotional love and reverence, it elevates all the mitzvahs to a higher level. So that's just another footnote. Okay, I think that's it for the footnotes. And also, why is it that those two mitzvahs of love and fear are essential? Because like it says in the Zohar, this is footnote 49, through them, through the love and reverence, all our mitzvahs can ascend. It says in the Zohar. All our mitzvahs can fly up, so to speak. So like we learn in Tanya chapter 40 and in other places, that through having an emotional feeling of love and reverence, when we're doing a mitzvah, the mitzvahs actually ascend like wings. The love and reverence become like wings to the mitzvah, that they can actually have an effect in the higher worlds too. So they're more powerful and impactful when you do the mitzvahs of love and reverence. Okay. Let's go inside again to the text. If anybody wants to say something, ask something, you could. Okay.
Even if we do even though we do the mitzvah of lighting candles, we can always beautify it. Like we can go in dressed in our dressed in our clothes, or like we could always add more light to the mitzvah.
Yes, we could do it with more also intention that we're lighting it for people who cannot be lighting right now, and or who haven't been lighting, and we're lighting for them, that they're going to be part of our mitzvah. Like we do anyway at the beginning of the day, we take on, for all the mitzvahs in general, that whatever we do, we're connecting to all neshamas of all Jews, and they're part of it. But we can have special kavanah, especially when we're lighting Shabbat candles too, more, because it's a moment, right? When we're about to light Shabbat candles, it's a culmination of all the work of all the week, and it's a new light we bring into the world. It's a good time to think of all the people who we're lighting for, also that we're lighting for all the people who can't light. That's my little, based on what the Rebbe is saying, to connect to, we have a connection to everybody when we're doing our mitzvahs in general, but that's a good time for women to think of that. Okay. So we're up to paragraph 4. Okay, so this mitzvah of Shabbos candles is also, the Rebbe says, is like a culmination, a completion of everything we've done throughout the generations, and it's a preparations for the time where there'll be higher lights revealed in the future, which it's the day that's called Shabbos forever and ever. Okay, now yesh losif. Now we can add. Let's add this. Now the Rebbe is going again, is going back to the advantage of the Jewish woman. It's also emphasized in Parshas Beshalach, which is this coming Shabbos. And this, in many years, the Geulah comes out in the week of Parshas Beshalach, like it does. Okay, well, they came out on Shabbos, but okay, the next Shabbos is still connected. This Shabbos Beshalach is connected. Parshas Beshalach Musipal Shirat Hayam. It's talking about the song on the Yam Suf and the Red Sea, as Yishem Moshe Bnei Yisrael and Moshe Rabbeinu and the Jewish people sang. Afterwards, Miriam, the prophetess, it says in Chumash, she called her, a prophetess. She's the sister of Aaron. She took the tambourine in her hand, but Tetzena, and all the women went after her, with tambourines, drums, whatever you want to call it, with dancing. But Miriam, Shilu Hashem, and Miriam answered to the song of the men. She answered, Shilu la Hashem, sing to Hashem, V'goma, etc., etc. That is in our parsha. Now, in footnote 57, important footnote, it's from the Medrash Rabbah and the parsha. It says, Kidmu sharim elu Yisrael achar nodnim elu hamalachim. Kidmu, Sharim, those are the Jewish people. Achar Nognim, those are the angels. Betoch alamot hafafot, it's a quote from a pasuk. In these worlds are ones with the tambourines, Elu Hanashim, those are the women. Shehen kilsu be'emtza. They also were celebrating in the middle. Like it says that Miriam the prophetess took the tambourine. I know this is from the Medrash, okay, it's a quote. What does it mean? That the women's song came before the angels singing. The angels listened to the song of the men singing and to the women singing. Similar to what it says in Shir Hashirim that the Rebbe quoted and we learned yesterday's footnotes. It says in Shir Hashirim, the friends are listening to your voice, and the Rebbe explains that the angels are coming to listen to us when we learn. The rabbis explain this and the Rebbe quotes it. The angels come to listen to us when we're learning Torah, to the Jewish people. Okay, so this is from the Medrash that the women were singing with their tambourines. It says the angels came to hear them before they even started singing. The angels came first and heard the women, and then the angels sang.
What
Now,
footnote was that?
that's footnote 57, but the Rebbe puts a star underneath that there's two opinions about this, okay? So maybe there's another opinion that they didn't sing after the women, but he doesn't. The Rebbe quotes the one where it says that the angels listened to the women and the men singing, and then they sing. So there's something special about them, about their song. Okay, now there's going to be a couple more footnotes, but let's go back inside. What's so special about the women that they had to have their own? It's not just for tznius, that's for sure, but there was something special about the women. We all know that was going to emphasize, right? That was pointing out, very important. They had another higher level of joy when they were dancing, that they also took tambourines or the drums with them, and they were singing and dancing, and there's a reason for them being even on this higher level of bringing this song to a higher level. So let's see inside. We're up to Parshas Beshalach of Shirat Hayam. Okay, we're talking about the women. Okay, what's the advantage of the women? What was great about their way of singing more than the men? More than the men. Their song was with more joy. They had drums and they danced. Okay, they had tambourines or drums and they danced. And we know, and this is very famous, and the Rebbe is the one who highlighted this and brought this out. It's a quote, but the Rebbe highlighted and brought it out. It's from Rashi on this pasuk. Rashi quotes this and explains this on this verse. But the Rebbe brought this and pushed this point that the righteous women were promised. The holy women in that generation knew that Hashem is going to make them miracles. Therefore, they took out the tambourines from Egypt. Okay, that's okay. Not to explain this, the fact that the women's song, which came through Miriam, that was with more joy and greater joy. Yeshlama, the Rebbe is now going to give his chiddush. Okay, so till now he quoted Rashi, quoted the Midrash, quoted things. Now the Rebbe is going to put his own additional insight into this, and it's more also explained more in Likutei Sichos, the Rebbe Sichos, volume 1, page 139. If you want to look more, but here the Rebbe explains a little bit. It says in the Midrash. So he's still quoting Midrash. Miriam al Shem Hameru. Miriam, why was she called Miriam? Because Miriam has the word bitter in it. Ma is bitter. The pain of being enslaved in a way of that they made their lives bitter. The Egyptians made the Jewish people's lives bitter with hard slave labor. It started to really take effect when Miriam was born. B'meshech peivav shanim, for 86 years. Abba shanim lifnei lidat Moshe, which started taking place 4 years before Moshe Rabbeinu was born. And through this pain and suffering that the Jewish people were going through, so after she was born, that's when Hashem brought this Goel, a redeemer, which was Miriam. Miriam was called the redeemer. Now, how was she a redeemer? Like, let's first look at footnote 63. No, what it says in Yocheved and Miriam, they were the midwives, right? Hashem made them homes. Kahuna v'leviyah, they were gifted and rewarded for not killing the Jewish babies. According to the decree, they were gifted priesthood to have Kohanim and Levim from Yocheved and Kahuna v'leviyah from Yocheved, priests and Levim from Yocheved, and Malchus, which is kingdom, from Miriam. Okay, like it says, David ba Miriam, David came from Miriam. This is from the Midrash. So it turns out that the true complete redemption, which comes through Mashiach, comes from Miriam, because David HaMelech comes from the seed of Miriam, through Miriam. So even physically, the offsprings that came out of them from Yocheved came Kohanim and Levim, and from Miriam came kings and King David Mashiach in the future. So, yeah. So there's another star over here also from this whole story about the midwives, how they went very courageously to Paro and they defied his decree. He wanted them to kill the babies as they were born, and they didn't listen to him. And there's a verse that says, "Haroim b'shoshanim," those who are shepherding in the shoshanim. Shoshanim are roses. It's speaking about in the Medrash Shir Shirim. It says it's speaking about Miriam and Yocheved. They were like the shepherds in the roses, the shepherds in the roses, meaning they were hen chayoten shel Yisrael vayuot. They were like the chayoten. They gave life to the Jewish women and Jewish people. Vayuot. They were like shepherds for the Jewish people. Shelibam rach kashoshanim. Their hearts are soft, like the roses. Roses are soft. They're velvety, right? So it says their hearts of Miriam and Yocheved were soft like roses, and they were like these shepherds for the Jewish people by making sure that they, their babies were saved. They did it in a very smart way also. They didn't just go to Paro and say, we're not going to listen to you, because then he would have taken them out and put somebody else instead. They just went and made up an excuse and said, there's nothing you can do. These children are going to be born either way, right? They gave a good reason how these women don't need midwives. Okay, so they were smart, they were soft-hearted, they were called like shepherds that shepherd in the roses, because their hearts were soft like roses. And that's from the Medrash on Shir Hashirim, and that's a little star at the end of the page. Okay. So let's go back to the text. The Rebbe is bringing his own insight on this Miriam. Miriam is from bitter, from the word bitter. So from the time she was born, that's when they started this harsh slave labor, and for 86 years. And then after this and through this, Hashem brought a redeemer who was Miriam. Miriam and Yocheved were the ones who were saved the Jewish people from being the kids from being thrown into the Nile River or being killed while they were born, right? Well, I guess they weren't able to save them from being thrown into the Nile River, but they were able to save them from many of them by not letting the decree of being killed when they were born. So the Rebbe says, the Rebbe says, this is Rebbe's Chiddush. What's this explanation in the words of the Midrash that they were called a redeemer? Goel is a Miriam. redeemer is Miriam al Shem HaMeru, that she was bitter. What does bitterness have to do with Geulah? They're two opposites. So the Rebbe explains, so if you're upset about what's going on in Gullus, you're being like Miriam, okay? Miriam felt, and she was pained very, very much from the bitterness of the Gullus, the pain of, and the bitterness of what the Jewish people were experiencing during the exile. That's why she was the Redeemer. That's why she prepared the tambourines, okay? The Rebbe says, let's take what says the rabbis say in the Megillah, in the Gemara. Not the Megillah. In the Gemara Megillah, the rabbis say Miriam took the tambourine. She's the sister of Aaron. She took the tambourine. That says in the pasuk. What does the Gemara say? It says they asked. It says she's the sister of Aaron. Why doesn't it say the sister of Moshe? Because she already had prophecy when she was just the sister of Aaron, before Moshe Rabbeinu was born. What was her prophecy then, when she was just the sister of Aaron? She said, my mother's going to give birth to a boy who is going to be redeemed the Jewish people. When they put Moshe Rabbeinu into the Nile River, Aaron said to his daughter, where's your prophecy that he's going to redeem us? So that's why the pasuk says she stood from afar to see what's going to happen to him. She wanted to know what would happen with her prophecy that she had, that he would be redeeming them. Her prophecy was about the Geulah. He'll redeem the Jewish people. From that moment on, where she was standing there and watching what will happen to him, because she was waiting, the Rebbe says, with like Kilyon Einayim, like shpilkas, more than shpilkas, Kilyon Einayim, very, very, anticipating what's going to happen. When will her prophecy be happen and fulfilled? And that's why it says that it's a Malchus. That's why she stood from afar to see, and she's watching Moshe Rabbeinu and the Nile River to see what's going to happen to her prophecy. As long as the Gullus was extending, she was very bitter about this exile. Until the point that the Gullus, the exile, was emphasized in her name. That shows of her essence. Miriam al Shem Amur, Mir means bitter. Okay, through being bitter about the exile, Miriam Hashem Amu, and her desire and anticipation and her yearning for the Geulah, for redemption, like it says, she stood she stood to see what's going to happen to her prophecy. That anticipation for the bitterness of the exile, and the desire and waiting anticipation for the future. Because of that, they had merited the Geulah, and Mida Kadosh Baruch Hu goes, Hashem put a redeemer, that's Miriam, Shaznit Kaima Nevuot Hashem, and then her nevuah, her prophecy was fulfilled. V'lo sif, so I was adding in bracket. Shinyanze Mugashkan Barachel. This is also emphasized in Rachel and Meinu. Okay, it's going back La'ish in the footnote 66. La'ish Knesset Yisrael Le'ilket Hashem Rachel. The whole Jewish people are also called on the name of Rachel. Rachel, our mother. When the Jewish people left and exiled in Galus Bavel, right after the first temple was destroyed, it says Rachel goes on her tomb and she's bocha, she's crying. She's asking mercy for the Jewish people. Like it says, the voice is heard in the Rama. What is it? The voice of Rachel crying for her children. She refuses to be comforted. Hashem answers her and says, there is reward for your good deeds. Your children will return to their borders, to the Jewish lands. Meaning when the Jewish people were being exiled after the destruction of the temple, she's crying, and Hashem says, you will be rewarded, you will see, they will return. Okay. According to how much was this bitterness, that was as much as was the bitterness for the exile, that's how much the greatness of the joy of the redemption. The fumsa agar, like the rabbis say, according to the pain is the reward. Therefore, Miriam took the tambourine. But all the women went after her with tambourines and with dancing because they were bitter. She was bitter, and they were bitter. So they had the greatest joy. That's why they didn't just sing; they sang with tambourines and with dancing. Everybody quotes again the whole verse, which he already quoted at least once before, I think more than once. They was quoting the whole quote again, that this, they was saying her prophecy of Miriam about the Geulah that she spoke about in her song when she sang on the ocean. And I was quoting again that Miriam, the prophetess, sister of Aaron, took the tambourine in her hand, and all the women went after her with dancing and singing, okay, with them and with the tambourines. Because when the Jewish people saw that the Mitzrim, the Egyptians who were trying to kill them, were dead on the ocean front, right? They were like swept onto the sand, Sfatayam, the edge of the ocean. But lying at Mitzrayim, so they weren't afraid of the Egyptians pursuing them anymore. So that moment was fulfilled, the prophecy of Miriam, that the Jewish people will be redeemed, and in its complete form, meaning they didn't just leave Egypt, but now they didn't have to fear the Egyptians anymore. So the wholeness of coming out of Mitzrayim was fulfilled at that moment. Therefore, also the joy of coming out of Egypt now was in its complete form, and therefore they sang and they danced and with tambourines. Okay, so that's the end of paragraph 4. Does anybody want to say something or ask something?
Can you bring it into here and now? Like, how do we live with this as we see our soldiers dying and people like such suffering?
Yes.
Like, how do we live with this message, and especially with the parsha of this week that, the Yidden were confused. What do we do to go forward? Like, do you have any, like, can you bring the Rebbe's message into our situation right now and see how we could?
Well, first of all, if we're feeling bitter, and which we are, and we're feeling the pain of exile, which we are, the Rebbe says that's because we're feeling that is going to bring about the true and complete and whole joy. So, and Chassidus does teach that we can have two feelings simultaneously. We can have the bitter and we can have the joy. So hopefully the bitter will be completely done with and we'll only have the joy. But if we're feeling this pain and bitterness, we can think of the women in Egypt also felt pain and bitterness. But at the same time, when they were feeling that, they prepared the tambourines and they had that anticipation. So because they felt the bitterness, the Rebbe says they felt the anticipation. So they were in the right place. Because they felt the pain and bitterness, the mar, that's what gave them the more of the desire for Geulah. And therefore, their joy with the Geulah was even greater. So that's what we're going through now. But we know that if we're feeling this, we're sensitive, very sensitive. Every time we hear not good news, we're very, very pained and very bitter. But that creates a greater yearning for the Geulah in us, that we want this redemption already. And this yearning for the Geulah, the Rebbe says, is what creates the joy more complete when the Geulah comes. So we're not immune to pain, and we're not immune to the bitterness. But this, if we use it to anticipate and prepare for the Geulah more, like the women did in Mitzrayim, they prepared their tambourines and they believed in the miracles, and they anticipated Geulah more, therefore they were more joyous when it happened. So the pain and bitterness shouldn't just bring us to depression, God forbid. The pain and bitterness should bring us to anticipate more the promise and the belief in the promise and the preparation for the promise of Geulah. So the more we feel pain and suffering, the more we prepare for Geulah.
Another thing that we learned here is that there's a difference between bitterness and sadness and depression. Bitterness brings to action. So
Yes.
that's what we're learning.
Yes, yes. I was explaining.
Sadness and depression leads down a spiral.
Yes, exactly. A good point. I was trying to explain to somebody yesterday about the Sefer Torah, and it was hard for her to understand. She's I think one of those people that doesn't know the difference between the mezuzah case and the mezuzah inside. And here I'm trying to explain to her the Sefer Torah, and I was talking to her about the website, so she wasn't understanding. Where is the Sefer Torah? Is it on the website? Is it real? Is it alive? Is it where is it? What is it? Anyway, I had to completely explain, but sometimes we don't understand what people don't understand. We have to even go back a little bit to where people are even holding in their understanding of what we're talking about. There was it took quite a while to explain, but why am I telling you this? From what you were talking about. What were you saying? How, business. Okay, so she kept going back to the point of whenever she hears about, soldiers dying, it's like she gets very upset and very angry. Why are they sending young boys to fight? Why, she's in that anger and blaming, the politicians and the people who are sending them. And okay, so what did I tell her? If I hear this news, I could get very easily down and out and depressed. If I don't want to get depressed, I need to do something about it. I need to do something good. This is how I deal with it. So I'll take my energies to try to promote more of the Sefer Torah, because that's my project now, to try to protect soldiers. So that's my mission right now, my focus. The more upset I am, the more I put energy into what I can do about it, or something good I can do with that. So the bitterness has to lead us to action, not to, God forbid, depression, like you were saying, Geulah. Okay.
Is that how you know that it's bitterness and not depression? If you do action instead of just getting down?
Yeah. But yes. It talks about that in timing. You know about that. So if we see we're getting stagnant and can't move.
I don't know. I'm very sensitive and emotional, so it's hard to sometimes it's hard to balance it all. That's all.
Yes. It's very.
We all are. It's really hard.
Yes, and that's what the Rebbe said, that we are, because we're the women, we're sensitive, and we feel the bitterness of the pain of exile more. That's why we have that more anticipation and desire for the Geulah, and look out for the prophecy. When is it, right? Like Miriam stood there and waited to see where's her prophecy, and then Miriam took the tambourines and prepared them. The men didn't do that. So we have that extra special sensitivity, that pain more. We feel the pain of exile more. We prepare more. We anticipate more, and we'll be more joyous when it's fulfilled. All the prophecies fully. Okay. So we pay more attention.
Thank you.
Right, anticipating and preparing for the redemption, rather than get sucked up in the depression of like how it's not so painful. Okay. So we should stop here because it's already 8:30, right? I'm going to do the psukim and then we can talk some more about it if you'd like. Torah tziva lanu Moshe, Ma'asha Kehilas Yaakov, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Bechol Dovadoche Avadam Leoses Etzmo Ki'ilu Hu Yatsa Hayom Mimitzayim. Kol Yisrael Yesh Lahem Chelek Le'olam Haba Shneimar V'Amich Kulam Sadikim. Le'olam Yeshua Eretz Netzel Matai Ma'aseh Yadai Lispar. Ki Karev Elecha Davar Me'od Beficha U'Bilvavcha La'asoso. Ve'ine Hashem Nitzav Alav V'Mlo Kol Ha'aretz Kevodo Mobit Alav V'Lochem Shlo Yisrael Alav Imodo Ka'oi. וישבר אלוקים את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך ובביתך ובלכתך ובדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, יגעתי ולא מצאתי אל תאמין, לא יגעתי ומצאתי אל תאמין, יגעתי ומצאתי תאמין, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. רבי עקיבא אומר, זה כלל גדול בתורה, וזה כל האדם צריך לעשות באסכולה למעשה ליבים בתחתונים. לי עשו יטבח דירה זו בתחתונים, ישמח ישראל בספר שכל מישהו מזה ישראל שלו ישמח בשמחת השם, ששש ושמח ודרסו בתחתונים, וכי אדוננו מועינו ברבינו מלך המשיח לעולם ועד. Ladies, there is one thing I wanted to let you know about. There is a JLI course with a lot of audiovisual videos of the Rebbe, and it's they put it together special for the 30, Gimel Tammuz this year is going to be 30 years, so they put a lot of effort into a very nice course, which their JLI courses, they have teams of like scholars putting stuff together, compiling. So they put a lot of, I guess, PowerPoint, they create PowerPoints for it, they create good questions, like a teacher book, a handbook. For many years, I've been, toying with the idea of maybe teaching a JLI course and liking the idea. It's very nice. They do a lot of, the packaging, the compiling, the research. They put a lot of effort into it with a lot of work. Okay, and they do it so that the shluchim around the world, can teach it, and they all teach it all at once at the same time, the same pace. And they sell these courses to the shluchim. So I've never done it because the courses are very expensive. They're usually like $3,000, and I don't want to have to invest $3,000 in a course. I'd rather just teach from inside myself. It's basically because I don't want to have to spend that money. So so this year, they're in honor of the 30th year. They're doing it for only $770. So I put out a video of their trailer video. They do a lot of nice stuff, right? They made a trailer for it, and I put it out. So if anybody wants to join the course, it's starting the first week in February, and we could do it anytime we want during that week. I was thinking Sunday is a good day, but that Sunday is actually, I'm going to be in Crown Heights, God willing, for the Shluchos convention. So we'll have to figure out exactly how to do it, but maybe we'll have to do it Sunday anyway. I don't know.
What's the goal? What's the purpose?
So I sent you the trailer. It's advice for life. It's a compilation. Basically, what they do is like they took different letters or different answers, different videos where the Rebbe gave certain advice to people on certain topics, and they put it together in topic form. Like that's their whole thing. They gather information, they package it. So they compilation of the Rebbe's answers on different issues to make it relevant for certain topics, and those topics discussed. So yeah, so if let's say the topic is I don't even know what the topics are, but let's say it's balance, okay, or calmness, or what we're talking about, being able to be happy and under very severe circumstances. So they compile a lot of answers so that the course is focused on how the Rebbe approached these issues, and so it's a nice course. So I'm going to be offering, because so far there are a few women who did, 3 women who said they'll take it. So I said I'm only going to do it if there's enough women. So far there's 3 women. So if any more women want to go, it looks like we're going to have a group, and then I'll put it. And there's a.
Did you say? Oh, sorry.
There is a handbook to it. So see, I have to order it. They send me the teacher's book, and they send the student book. So yeah, so I have to let them know.
Are you saying you're going to be the teacher?
I'm going to be the teacher, and whoever wants to join online or in person we can do it. I was thinking of doing it on a Sunday.
How much are you charging for doing it?
So yeah, so from this group, whatever you can do, I figured if 20, like $25 or $28 a class, and 6 classes, that's all it is, then okay, so let's say the course would be for 6 classes would be $150 for the course. And that's and I know it's expensive, but that's what I'm saying. The women in this class can pay whatever they want. But then if I have I need more than 3 women to actually pay for the course. So So, but it's because it's 700 money. It's a good course. I'm sure it's worth the investment.
Would you do, are you thinking of doing it instead of the Dvar Malchus or in top of it?
No,
Actually, a shul in Crown Heights with a mikvah. My son went to elementary school in the shul. It's the Frankel shul.
That's what I was
So it
thinking.
must be Jewish. Yeah.
Doing it on Sunday. Because we don't learn Dvar Malchus on Sunday.
Okay,
Oh,
I can also ask different communities, and like it would be open to other communities as well. Like, could you make it so that the time would also work in Israel? Because I know there's somebody at the Tzemach Tzedek Shul that they have like a growing community in Israel. Maybe they can also join.
Right. So yeah, so if I do it Sunday morning, then it's good in Israel. Well,
Okay.
I have to say, personally, one of my sons that is on Shlichus, and he's in campus, that he uses the courses, and he sent me the curriculum for teaching Tanya to someone who knew zero, and it was so well done.
Yeah.
Like,
It worked okay.
yeah, it's amazing how much they put into it and how well it's done. Like someone could know zero and still like gain so
That
much.
doesn't work to ride the bus.
Yes, I like how they bring the visuals. And
It's
they
just
bring-
beautiful.
This
It's yeah,
works
it's
for the
beautifully
bus?
done. It was beautifully done.
Yeah. They put a lot of effort into it. They spend a lot of money and pay a lot of people to do a lot of work. So it's definitely, yeah, a lot of visual aids.
But you don't want to like push it on people. I see how some.
Can you let us know when you have a time, because that's relevant?
I was thinking 9 o'clock on Sunday mornings. Is that?
Better.
Yeah,
9
that's a good
o'clock.
time. Somebody needs to be muted.
Yeah.
I don't think they're
I
listening.
didn't think I do.
Do you want us to text you if we think we can participate?
Yes, it's better if you actually send an email because I don't always get texts. Sometimes get
Okay.
if you could send an email to Bais Chana, that's the best, or you could do both, text and email.
The
So,
thing of
How long do you think each session will be? I have a student on Sunday morning too. So how long do you think it might be? Like 2 hours, 1 hour, 3 hours?
Oh, no, not 3 hours. I don't think I'll be able to do 3 hours.
Is it just like an hour like the Dvar Malchus? Are you thinking of doing it that way? What are you thinking of doing?
So you know what? I've never done it. So I really.
Right, it's hard to say. So I need to know though what to tell my student. If I told her
Well,
what
I would
a
say,
safe time might be,
I would-
safe time might be that we give it two hours. I could work with her in 2 hours after. Maybe that would be safe.
I also have a class on Sunday, so I don't know if it's well. Oh, what time? Oh, you're talking about Eastern time, right? So 9 o'clock is 8 o'clock our time.
9 o'clock my time, I'm thinking.
Oh, 9
Your
o'clock your
time.
time. Okay.
Is that too late?
11 o'clock our time. Yeah,
Oh,
that's Sundays is great. And my only thing is, for you to like put something out there so that we could share it and see if you could get more people. Like the sooner the better, because it's very soon.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about 9 o'clock
I put it
your
on the
time.
nourishments, but I'll put
I
it
don't
on
know.
again.
I already have a
Oh,
class
boy.
that time. I don't think it's going to work at 11 o'clock my
That's when I
time.
teach a class. I teach a class at that time.
Yeah, I thought it was 9 o'clock like Eastern time, right?
Yes, so do I.
You want it earlier, huh?
I would.
Well, unfortunately,
Earlier
Yeah,
or later.
I could.
later wouldn't count Israel well.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever you think. I just know that
Whatever, like, let's say you did it at 8 your time, that would be 10 our time.
Yes, that would work
10
for
our
you, ladies.
it won't work for me, but you guys, I'm not the only
wouldn't
one.
work for you. Well,
No.
what would work for you, Fruma? When is your class?
My class starts at 10 o'clock, so our
Oh.
time, which means
Yeah.
that,
Means if
Right.
she did it at 8 o'clock her time, then you just quit her and then go to your class, and that wouldn't work for you?
Oh, to quit my 10 o'clock class?
No,
I don't
no,
know.
we'll go like this. Your class is at 10, right?
Yeah.
So if she starts at 8, it would end before 10, and then you'd have 10 o'clock to go to your class.
Yehudit, is the class Dvar Malchus over? Or
Fruma,
Yeah.
are you
we
still there,
finished-
Fruma?
we finished
Yeah,
today's-
I'm listening. I'm just saying it's 2
Is
hours
it-
different, so it's
Right,
just
so it
2
would
hours
be-
earlier.
Oh, I see. So if it were 8 o'clock, then it would be starting at 10 o'clock for us.
Right.
I get it. Okay, I get it. Okay. that
So-
wouldn't work for you.
It's only six weeks,
It's
so
only 6 weeks.
maybe other things can be flexible, like
Yeah,
change
just
it out a
when
little
you
bit.
pick your
Well, we
time,
have
it's
to think
okay.
about it though, that's all.
Yeah,
We
when
have
you
to
pick
think
your
about
time, just put it out and I'll see if I can make it work. That's all. Just when you pick a time, you'll let us know.
Okay,
If you do
You have-
8 o'clock, then I can,
You have to make it,
but
you have
I
to make
couldn't
it
do it
work.
otherwise.
You have to make it work
Maybe
for
we
you.
should just do it on one of the Dvar Malchus days.
Sunday isn't generally a bad day for most people. We just have 2 people here, Fruma and me. That's not like a majority, so
Well, I think it's the
it'd be-
best day for most people because
I do too. I agree with you.
I think Sunday's the best day for most people.
Yeah, I think so. So if you did it for 8 a.m., I think I could persuade my student to start a little later.
There you
But
go.
first I'd have to tell you I'm coming. You wouldn't change it for that, just for me, and then I don't come. So
Right,
why don't
just
you?
decide your time and we'll see,
I
and
mean,
we'll decide
If
whether we
it's
can.
8 o'clock, if I'll tell you if I'll come, yes or no, if it's 8 o'clock, and then you'll decide if you want to do that 8.
Yeah,
I'm
you'll,
just saying, I've taken JLI classes. They're really good.
they're good.
And
They're
they're
good.
normally normally extremely expensive, and they're
Right.
really very good, and they are done by scholars. They really
Oh,
are
they're good.
handled
It's,
really well.
it's exceptional good, but but
Mhm.
see what your time could be.
And-
I mean, I would prefer a little earlier, but you have to do what you can do. That's all. We'll see.
You should.
I mean, I could take off that class for a few weeks and just to go to that. And I'll have to decide what's the right thing. But if you just post your time, then
I'm gonna
I'll
let you
answer.
know. I'm gonna let you
Yeah,
know
when
if
you
I can
decide
come.
when you
And
decide
if
your
I can
time,
come,
then we could we'll
This coming
decide.
home.
no,
Whoever
I'm
can.
gonna say when I say I'll come if it's at 8 o'clock. I'll say that or not. Or I won't come. I'll just say that, and then you can decide the time based on us. Our needs.
yeah, okay. So,
I'll tell you before you tell us the time.
yeah, so
That's
basically,
saying.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask those 3 women who already showed an interest, if it's okay if we do it at 8 instead of 9, my time. So 2 of them are out of LA, one of them's in LA, but, so I'll just make sure they're okay with that, and then I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. We'll be in touch then. You'll let us know and then we'll make a
Yeah, I
decision.
almost was just gonna give up and not do it, because I was like, there's so much going on, and I get an answer from there, but I have to keep teaching, I have to keep doing, like, I can't just stop. This is something I would love
I don't
to,
know, we just have to go forward. Somehow this is the message, go forward. So
Yeah.
the Rebbe's teachings, the
That's
Rebbe's
right.
words.
That's the
we have to go-
message.
And the Rebbe he gave us the Nevuah, that this is the time of the Geulah, and we have to just go forward. And it's not, and I guess that's what you're doing, go forward.
yes,
It's for me, it's like, okay, should I give up an ongoing class to do this or not? That's the question. So I don't have to make sure it's the right thing.
yes, exactly. So everybody has to come to their inner understanding. Thank God it's a question of good or better, or good or gooder, or good or good, not God forbid, the opposite. So we're very blessed. We have so much abundance of good things available for us. So that's, I guess, what we need to focus on, bringing more light and ushering in that light and being these powerful women that we are, to bring in these revelations into the world, and awarenesses and understandings and connections. And so that's what we need to celebrate already and anticipate the Geulah. And we'll do our song we're going to finish with our song. Okay, I'm going to turn off the recording.
Thank you.